while the players cool down after the game, Wiser heats up my water.
Rob, a break from the Premiership and now into Europe, and I know how excited you get about playing in the Champions Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? You know, 8 o'clock kick-off, floodlights are going to be going, there's going to be some atmosphere here. It should be a fantastic day, a fantastic evening. What we've got to do is, we've kind of got to push on from what we did against Saracens and really play in a way that involves the crowd and gets that kind of support level and creates that kind of atmosphere here, because it really was special at the weekend, and it's given us what should be a good platform to go into Europe. But we've got to rest on our laurels. We've got to reproduce something that's looking to be even better than that.
You've talked over these last 2 weeks about building over this block of 6 almost. Are you seeing that now, and what really encouraged you from the Saracens game in particular?
I'm definitely seeing it. I mean, I think it started before the Saracens game. The Bath game was a real challenge for us in a lot of ways, and we overcome some big challenges in that game. I think people probably underestimate it. You know, we still had a number of back five players unavailable. On the morning of the game, we lost Sean Lonsdale, who was going to be our line-out caller. Sam Skinner kind of came in on the morning and had to call line-outs, and Don, we had him and Don in the second row as a pair that hadn't even trained together. You know, various things were happening during the day, and I think that challenge, along with what was looked a rejuvenated Bath, really been preparing for 2 weeks for that game with internationals coming back in, and everyone will know, you know, that game was a humdinger, it was a battle, wasn't it? But we saw our way through it, and we came through late, and I think that probably showed just where the spirit of the camp was, and then obviously that pushed through to what was in a lot of ways probably our best home performance of the season, because I think we probably kept our best for away from home up until then, but that kind of showed that, you know, we can stand toe to toe with the teams that are currently at the top end of the Premiership, which isn't us. You know, we're fighting to get back into that top 4, that top group, but it showed that we've got the qualities to knock those guys over, and it's something we've got to keep producing for the rest of the season.
Montpellier this weekend, when you look at their form, they're 7 from 12 in the top 14. They're not going to be no pushovers.
Oh, not at all. You know, they're a good side, a lot of good players, big and physical, kind of threats everywhere really. You know, once they start playing and offloading through the middle, they get quite dangerous, and you kind of look at it and go, this is going to be a big challenge. But that's what it should be like. That's what the Heineken Cup should be like, and that's why. But that's also why we've got to really focus on ourselves. You know, focusing on ourselves will really mean we zone in on the kind of energy and the excitement and the physicality we're going to have to bring in the weekend. If we do that, we give ourselves a great opportunity. We've done it before in the Heineken Cup, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to produce that 80-minute performance.
You talked in the past, Rob, about maybe in the early years of the Heineken Cup, boys didn't quite get it. They seem to get it now, especially since winning it a couple of years ago, and now the last couple of campaigns, that they know what it's needed to get to that latter stages. Yeah,
I think initially when we'd step into the Heineken Cup, what you'd often find is you'd see players, even our more experienced players to a degree at that stage, would just suddenly do something that you wouldn't really know why they'd done it, and it would normally put us under pressure, and all of a sudden the team would just collect some easy points off us. And whenever we spoke about it, often what they say is, well, it's the Heineken Cup, just thought it was going to be different, I'd need to do something different, I need to do something special. And what guys have slowly learned over a period of time is, yes, you do need to do something special, but it's not a one-off moment thing. It's not some ridiculous bit of skill. It's not you trying to force something that's an unexpected thing. What you have to be special at is your whole 80-minute commitment to how you play and how well you do the things you do, but they have to be targeted in what the team needs you to do. And as we've slowly become really focused on that and really zoned in on that, we've become a better and better team. Because actually, yes, there will be moments of what you call magic. I mean, if you look at, say, you know, Henry Slade kind of was under a load of pressure, makes a half break, and he's kind of sliding to his knees and manages to put an offload around someone's back. That's a moment of magic. But what he's really done then is he's got us back on the front foot after being under a bit of pressure, and he's got into some space, and he's made the right decision on the pass. He hasn't tried to flick that ball over his head as he's going backwards or through his legs. He's got us back on the front foot first, and that's the kind of thing that you have to do. You know, it's a little bit like, if in doubt, you get yourself on the front foot, either in attack or defence, and you focus on doing that first. And those are the kind of things we've got better at. And again, those have got to be things we zone in, because if we zone in for this weekend, because if we try and do the fancy stuff first, or we think there's a simple way of winning this game, we're going to get it wrong. You know, first and foremost, we're going to have to put a lot of big guys on the floor and make them have to get up. and put them on the floor again and make them get up. There's going to be some real basic elements. We're going to have to work them at the set piece if we want to create any fatigue. It's even if it's a lovely night, it's 8 o'clock in the evening in the winter, it's going to be dewy and slippy. We have to win the kick battle on the ground in attack and defence. There's lots of things that are going to be tough if we want to win the game, and that's what we've got to zone in on.
Hill, Gray, O'Flaherty, Simmons all back last week, and Luke Cowan-Dickie, and you made him captain. What was the thinking behind that, and what are you seeing in him now that perhaps didn't see 12 months ago?
To be fair, we probably would have made Luke skipper at the start of the season if he'd been available to play. We were thinking about it through the off-season, we were thinking about it towards the tail end of last season, and really it got delayed really by the Lions' rest period, and obviously with Dickie playing in all the test matches, we weren't going to ask him to try and cut that short. And then obviously he got injured pre-autumn internationally. He actually wasn't really available to us very much. And so actually when we looked at it and we knew he was going to be fit now and should be fit for a block of games and very important games for us, we felt it was the right thing to do. I think just right here and now, if I'm honest, he just feels like the guy who, can pull it all together on and off the field with a level of kind of commitment to everything we're doing and a kind of drive individually and collectively that is what we really need and create a focal point for us. And that's what it feels like. Yeah, I don't mind admitting he's matured into this, and we've had lots of conversations over lots of years about the things I would like to see from him. But he's just doing it, and if a guy does it, then you back him, don't you? And that's what I've seen. You
kind of alluded to it there, and he said to me after the game last week, he's one of the old boys now. But that growing maturity, you said, in fact, a lot of these boys, their international experience, they're learning from different scenarios and how they're bringing it back into camp now and driving standards here to another level.
Yeah, but with Dickie, it's a bit simpler than that. It's more that he wants to get on the rugby field and play games of rugby, and he wants to do it hard, and he likes the weight of expectation. If you sit in a team meeting and talk about dealing with pressure, or should we talk about trying to win things, he sits there and goes, we should always talk about winning things. I want every team I play to have a real expectation that we're going to win the game and they're going to come at us flat out. I want the press saying Exeter should win the Premiership. I want the press saying Exeter should be in the latter stages of the Heineken Cup. He said, I love that. That's how I want to play. I don't want to play when people think we shouldn't win. I want that pressure. That's the kind of guy really you want to be in charge of things, because he's going to drag people along and he's going to realign people who start to waver, because he wants the weight of expectation. He loves being challenged, and that's what we should want as a team. We should want to be challenged, and we should want to thrive in those environments.
And finally, you talked about getting the crowd back on board, and we saw that with the Saracens, and then the post-match pint as well. It was all made for a special day last weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just think it was important. I mean, fair play to Tony. He knew it would take a little bit of organisation to get done in the latter stages of the game, because obviously, it wasn't something that we had completely pre-planned, because I just don't think you should do those kind of things. I'm not someone who goes, we're going to win this game, so let's plan on doing this. I like to think that we go, come on, well, if we perform well and we create an opportunity in the dying stage of this game, and we could be there. I just had a chat with Tony, before the game. Is it something we'd be able to do? And fair play, him and the stewards and the safety, how they did it. Within seconds of finishing the game and doing the claps and whatever we had to do with the opposition, we walked down to that corner and there was a nice little stewarded pathway down to the bar, and it was easy for the guys to get down there, and just there was a pint of beer poured for them, and they just had that 10 minutes. That was all it was. It wasn't some huge celebration. It wasn't some long-winded thing. It was just nice to just see the guys walk through the crowd and just hear them cheering and listening to them being very emotive about the performance, and and just feeling it. Just genuinely feeling it right at the moment when it means the most to the supporters, I thought was important, and I hope it's something that sticks with the guys over the next few weeks, that they want to reproduce that feeling as often as they can.